YouTube, I guess. All right. I believe on our sports network, such a time as this. We're here at our weekly podcast. We got a special guest on tonight, and I'm actually kind of excited today. I was talking to KD earlier, well, just a couple minutes ago, and it felt like fall out there today. 77 degrees. The heat wasn't here, but anyways, football is starting to ramp up. As we always say. Clemson football is the engine that runs the machine here in the South. And you start to see it on ESPN. And we kind of gotten over that long, drawn-out summer, and we're, 19 days away, I believe? And I think even closer than that, 11 games away. There's a game in 2 weeks. They're going to actually kick it off. Before we get started and announce
we're coming down to the wire.
Huh?
I said, we're coming down to the wire.
Yeah, we are. It'll be here before you know it. And so anyways, just a couple shout out to a couple sponsors. Kia of Anderson came on board 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be doing a live show at the Appalachian State game. We had this cool little place called Color Chaos. They came on board. All of them came on the board the week of the Orange and White weekend. And that's a place down in College Avenue. And you can go down there and shoot each other with paint. It's like a paint spray gun inside place right there on College Avenue. And they came on board. Just an update. We're going to be doing a live show at Vape Nation Friday, the 30th of August, a sponsor of ours. And then, of course, and the Clemson Marina's promoting it pretty big. We're going to be down at Clemson Marina for a kickoff on game day, and that will be August 31st. And we got, of course, it's a noon game, so we're doing it at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so 10 to 11 or however long that takes. And I think a lot of us are going to sit down there and watch the game right there on Lake Hartwell. Trying to think of anything else. So anyways, we had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. We've hired a couple of new people. We got one guy that came on board a couple of weeks ago. He used to take pictures for Sports Illustrated, worked at the Herald Journal in Spartanburg for about 20 years. So we're excited about that. And so that's all the news I got right now on what's actually going on since the last podcast. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to announce our guest. And I did just a little bit about my 1981. I was born in 68, so I guess around 81, I must have been about 12 or so. And I don't have a lot of 1981 gear because I was 12. If I did, I probably wouldn't fit in it, but I found this shirt right here, Party Like It's 1981. And what that's saying is back in 1981, we won the first national championship. So the guest that's on tonight was actually part of that team. This shirt came out when Trevor and the boys went out to California and gave Alabama a good little kicking. So without further ado, I met this guy. I've known about him for a while. I met him at walk-ons during the Orange and White autograph signing last 2 weekends ago, I guess it was. So without further ado, we got KD Dunn on here. Rob's usually good at asking questions.
What's up, guys?
That's right.
What's up?
Glad to have you on, buddy.
Man, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So one of the first questions that I love to ask is, what was your recruitment like? What was it like getting recruited by Danny Ford and the coaching staff back then?
Well, back then I was kind of highly recruited. Class of 81 out of Gordon High School in Decatur, Georgia. And I went to a lot of schools. My final was Florida State, Wake Forest, what was the other school? I forgot the other school. And after going to Clemson and visiting up there, it was hands down decisions on where to go. My one of my former classmates at Gordon High School, Jeff Bryant, he played 12 years. He played 12 years with the just small guy. Played 12 years at the Seattle, but he kind of convinced me to come down there as well, and I was able to play that one season with him during the national championship year. But I was recruited by Nelson Stokely, was the offensive coordinator at that time. God rest his soul, rest in peace. But he took me up under his wing, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. He brought it out of me. And then also Coach McCorvey came along, and then he was my uncle figure. So he pushed me along to be the person I was at Clemson University.
Nice. So what was it like being under Danny Ford? Like, was he good to work with, or was he kind of hard on you guys?
I think he was did they make A1 back then? He was a different type of guy, different type of coach. I'm telling you, he was pretty hard on us. He was young, enthusiastic. You know, he knew the game of football because he was from that old Alabama era. So he kind of knew what we was talking about because we kind of questioned him a little bit on some of the stuff that he was doing. But other than that, you know, he was hardcore, but yet he was pretty fair. That's what the respect that was given among the players, that he was doing everything for the players. He believed in the players, and he wanted the players to have nothing but first class. As long as we were first class, we would give them first class treatment.
Nice. So obviously, you guys, you know, was somewhat of a juggernaut offense back in that time. You know, you guys were playing some of the big boys with Georgia and all that. Like, you know, I've watched some of the replays of the Georgia games just because, you know, obviously I think I was like 2-3 years old when 1981 was, and I watched the year you played Georgia. That just looked like it's like two heavyweight boxers just going at it.
Our Georgia game,
more touchdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Our Georgia game, Clemson game had been always tough, and that's what football was all about. Two powerhouse teams going at it, and at the end, and most of the time at the end, it came down to seconds for the win, and it took a field goal to win the game. But we always noted that Mr. Herschel Walker, never crossed the goal line, our goal line or his goal line. He had many chances. He had many chances to go over the top. He got his ass knocked on his back. He got many chances to go around to the left and go to the right, and we were right there sticking it to him. Not only one person, he had at least 5 guys hitting him at one time. That's what that was the love of that defense. Now our defense was powerhouse. Now you can't. Our defense was not a pushover.
Oh,
and the excitement that we had, and the excitement that we had to push it along. You know, we were no nonsense type of characters. So, and those guys were really getting after it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about the old 80s and 90s football, college football. That is just the hard nose, hard hitting. You just passionate. Like I enjoyed watching games when I was a kid. I mean, I still love watching games now, but you can tell there was a different type of college football then than it is now.
Oh yeah, it was so much run oriented at that time.
Yep.
And we had a lot of running backs. Cliff Austin, Chuck McSwain. You know, those guys were. I mean, those guys were not little guys. You know, like 6'1", 6'2", and could fly. And so, and being, you know, daddy from Alabama, they believe in the run. And Stokely was running and had to throw. We had Homer Jordan to throw the ball, and then they tried to underrate him, but he showed them a little bit something different. So you got a running stop option type quarterback, and still be able to fake it and turn around and throw it. And then you got the running backs, and then we got the offensive line, and you some of the best tight ends, Billy Diggs and myself and worse. So you know, come on now, you can't win with that.
Yeah.
How do you defend that?
Harry Tuttle.
Exactly. Yeah. So what was that? What was the feeling like? What was the mindset in the locker room right before you went out to play Nebraska in the national championship game?
All our previous games, we always were hyped up. One of the guys would be hyping us up and ready to play, and we would just run out there and then just start destroying folks. But this particular game, we were waiting for Georgia to finish in the Sugar Bowl. They were trying to decide who was the winner of that game. We're really going to decide it at the end of our game. So Coach was always telling us, Coach Ford was telling us, you know, just settle down, We're not going to go out yet. Give it a little time. And after that game, and we found out that we had our chance to win the national championship, Oh my gosh, you should have seen the locker room. It was crazy. By the time we got on the field, I think everybody was tired.
Yeah. Well, and that was the
Doing
thing,
pregame.
because no one
What did
knew
we?
who was going to be considered as the number one team or
Yeah,
who was
back
going to
then
be
they had
cited
players.
as the national champion until a couple games had finished.
Yeah.
That yours included.
Right. But but you had to understand how the hoopla was going on because it was big Nebraska, little Clemson.
Yeah, I
Nobody ever heard
remember
of
one
Clemson. They
announcer
thought we was a
thought we were
fluke.
in North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little old Clemson.
Yeah, little
What?
Clemson. Yeah, we're little on
Nobody.
the
I
map,
mean,
but heck,
we
we're
had a
big
good
on the
team.
goddamn field.
Have you watched that thing on ESPN or the Danny Ford thing where they all get together and talk about that year? It's called the 81 year. They interview everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it came on AC, the AC
Yeah, I've seen
network.
it. Saw last year.
Yeah.
ACC Network, not ESPN. That's a good. That's a good little show.
Yeah,
Well,
I've seen that
Mhm.
show a few times. I
well,
watch
we've
it in
been ranked at the
WNBA.
beginning of 1980, going into 81. I mean, 81 going into 82.
81 was my freshman year.
Yeah, well, we ranked when we won the national championship at the beginning of the
Yes.
season, like 20th or
No,
something.
we were. Oh, we were down low.
Yeah,
We were low on the podium.
and just
They was what 7-4 before then.
yeah,
They
nobody
wasn't.
expected that.
They wasn't. Nobody know. Nobody knew. So we just
Danny
took.
Ford, I
Coach
think
told us
was.
just take each game.
I think at the time it was the
He told
youngest
us take
coach.
one game at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
y'all broke
33 at a time.
the barrier saying it could be done, So that was cool.
Yeah,
And then now we've done it. Now we've done it 2 more times, hopefully again.
Two more times.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, wanting to know like what was that mindset like, just because I mean, when you guys came out on the field, like I said, I didn't get to watch it live, but I watch it as a replay, and I mean, you guys came out on the field like it's time for business. Like it's time to it's time to put these guys in their place and show the world what little old Clemson is like.
Yeah, and now as a former coach, I go back and look at the game. You had some guys that were really giving it up, giving their bodies up.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? They were trying to do everything they could to hunt for that ball. You should have saw the defense. Everybody was getting after it. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Now, so you go on, you get drafted by the NFL. What was it like when you first got into the NFL? Like, what was that moment that you just said, wow, I'm in the NFL right now?
Well, the funny part was seeing all the old guys and seeing their family come up to them, the little kids come up to them and hug them, and you turn around, look around, and just me. And you feel like, well, wait a minute, this thing right here is he's trying to make this team for his family. This is the real deal. This is not no collegiate just trying to win the game. It's all about the paper. It's all about finance. It's all about this and that. But and I had to turn around and look at it a different way after I got cut the first time. I was like, wow, so this is how it is. I thought I was good enough. You know what I'm saying? And then I was picked up by Tampa, and then when I was able to play with these guys, I'm like, these guys, they can't hold my job. Come on now. So I was kind of successful after that, after playing 5 years and 2 years in the World League. So it was a much dream come true. Kind of find out you get a paycheck after you play. And I was like, oh, okay, this is something different. And then you're like, well, yeah. Then you feel like, what you can do with all this money?
Think about it. What, 2% of the people who play actually go to the NFL? So that's something to say.
Yeah,
something to be
it's
proud
a very
of.
low percentage.
Yeah, it's very low.
Oh yeah. So, but see, after playing, I didn't even really think about going to the pros really until after seeing a lot of guys around me and around my teammates were going. I was like, well, he's going. Okay, well, let me see what I can do. And then my ratings start going up. Then turn around, I was the 4th tight end pick out the country. I was 5th round pick, but I was the only 4th tight end. I came up with Bavaro.
I mean, 5th round's actually, that's something to say. That's not a, teams just kind of picking the bottom of the barrel. 5th round is some good gym picks right there.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You had a lot of guys behind me. What do we have, 12 rounds then?
Yeah, so, something like that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm still saying, go look at where Tom Brady was drafted. What was it, like 6th, 7th round? He was drafted. But That's why I always say it doesn't ever always matter who was the number one pick or the first round draft, because how many of the first round draft picks are busts?
But that's what the guys need to realize now. If you're either drafted or not, you still have
Yeah.
opportunity to play for the NFL.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
what you do and what
Tom Brady
the teams
was
are really looking for.
Tom Brady was what, fifth round or something, like seventh round.
Yeah.
But
You get it in.
That's what I'm saying. Like every round has still got its own value, but I always say like those gems are hiding right there that people are just overlooking because they're going for this glorified person over here, But a lot of first round draft picks are always seem to be bust.
Yeah.
But and there's still good draft guys in the first round. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, there's been a lot of bust in that first round pick that everybody's like, oh, this is going to be the next person, and then they're not.
So, whatever the case that may be, they usually come out like that. Maybe they're not giving it all. They think they're giving talent was just going to take over. You don't work that hard. Everything came easy for them. Now, when you get to that level, you're going to have to work, buddy.
Yep.
You're going to have to work.
And that's
got
what
a lot
I'm
of people trying to take your job.
I think a lot of the first round picks think, oh, I got first round draft. Now I don't have to really do a lot because I'm guaranteed the spot. And, and that's the one thing I love about what Dabo's doing with the team right now is he's telling these kids, look, you're not just going to start just because you're highly talented talent. You're going to have to work for it. You got to earn your spot. And that's what I love about what he's trying to do with the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree as well.
So
you actually coach football now?
Well, I was a former coach. I retired last year. Yeah,
you retired.
Okay. I'm 1 year retirement in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was
that was down in Lithonia, right?
Well, that's where that's where I'm from. But I was teaching and coaching out in Douglasville is my last. So I've been in Atlanta Public, Fulton County, and DeKalb County, and now my last stint was in Douglas County.
Okay. Yeah, I lived in Marietta for about 10 years, and so I kind of knew the area a little bit, and I saw Redan High School play a couple times. That's why I was thinking that's the school you were at, right, coaching?
That's where I started at. I was a line coach. I was 6 years there and left. Then I found my way to come back in 2017, 18, as a head coach for a year.
Okay.
It was an experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some work in Lithonia a little bit, and that's what stuck in my mind. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize he had coached at Redan. But so
sure did.
you go to the NFL. So you win a national championship with Clemson. You go to the NFL. What was it like playing on the Super Bowl team?
It was interesting, man. I mean, guys, about Hall of Famers, man. You're able to know these guys, them, and talk to them, and then out there doing those guys, it was pretty. And then to win one of these showcase, they're not as big as now. It is, and I really cherish it, and we really appreciate everything that was given to us.
Yeah, I can't imagine being on the national stage in college football and then being able to go to the NFL and be on that same national stage, with the Super Bowl win.
Pretty cool.
It's kind of special, ain't it?
Yeah, not many people have even one of those. Super Bowl and a national championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it was me, I'd probably have one ring on this finger and the other ring on this hand.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I was
87. You won 87 Super Bowl, and that was
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams. Yes.
Hey, he was a heck of a quarterback. And who were y'all playing that year? I forgot.
The best. Denver.
Beat Denver. Okay.
Denver. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big Redskins fan, and
they're still the Redskins to me.
I still consider. I mean, I'm a Panthers fan now. I'm born and raised around the Charlotte area, and I always feel for my Redskins, but I kind of had to go with the hometown team. I just liked when Kevin Green and Sam Mills and all those guys just like kind of, I don't know, brought a unique character to the Panthers team, and it kind of made me really want to be a fan of theirs. So, but I still pull for my Skins when they're not playing the Panthers. But and I got to actually work with Irene Jacoby, whose husband was Joe Jacoby, and we used to sit and kind of talk and talk football and whatnot. And I got to meet Joe, and he's such a good guy. I really liked him. He's such a humble guy. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
He will be soon, along with the Bostic boys.
Oh yeah. I mean, Joe Jacoby, one of the original Hog Mollies, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Do you ever get up in games?
yeah, but I was about to say that the Washington organization is second to none. Last year, I went to the little homecoming that they gave us, and they really set it out for us pretty well for the old players, and I was very, very satisfied.
Nice.
And that they really poured out to us, and I was really grateful, and I look forward to going next year.
Oh.
This year.
Okay. So you say you just retired. So what's your retirement plans? Just gonna do some fishing? Do what? What you got going?
Well, what I've been doing lately is going to a lot of golf tournaments and little charity events, giving back my time a little bit, and doing a lot of traveling, and then I'm going to try to do the overseas thing this year, a couple of overseas trips.
Where are you going?
Then, I'm looking to Italy, Greece. Somewhere in the Caribbean or something like that. As long as they have golf courses, I'm going to visit.
We got to get better. We got to get women beat Grayson. He's won it 4 or 5 years in a row. Rob, you know what place we came in? I don't know.
We were towards the bottom. We had what was it, a 60?
We're 500, weren't we? We were somewhere around there.
We were around about the 500 mark. I think we finished with like a 60 something, 62, 64 range. What was it? The winning score was like 47. I don't know.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Some really low scores came in on that Sunday.
47.
I want to say that's the winning score that
the course record 60.
What was it? Not Ricky Sapp.
Grayson's team won.
Yeah, Grayson. I was like Grayson Marshall's team.
They had a 47 on their team.
And then they had to go do a chip off to see because there was a tie.
Wow.
It was a tie. Really? And I want to say it was 47 at that number. And they had to go out to the chipping green and do a chip off.
47 win the Masters. So that's crazy. Wow.
But scrambles are always fun. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to do it again next year. So, and I play golf at least once a week.
Once a week, that's good.
Yeah, I'm in a golf league up here in Charlotte, and I was tied for fourth in season points, but this last major I kind of dropped down because there were some guys that got a lot of points. So I'm sitting about 7th right now out of about 35. So, but we still got a long season. Still got one more major to go for the year in our league. So, I play about once a week. I'm okay. I think me and what's his name was playing pretty good. Josh, you had some great chips and some good putts. He was clutch for us. We called him the designated putter.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
I hadn't played.
Yeah, I was fortunate to play with 3 young ladies. They were rising freshmen this year, and they was on the golf team. Nice.
Oh, they're on Clinton golf team.
Pretty well.
There you go.
No, they were freshmen in high school.
Okay.
Well, they're on the golf team, so that's.
I know the Lady Tigers golf team is did really well this past year. So
yeah, they did.
Yeah, I saw him out there practicing.
Yeah, it's the hardest sport known to man, in my opinion. It's
Yeah, I watched it. I
It's
just started
hump-
playing in about 2000. I watched it on TV and all, and then you go out and play it, and they make it look easy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's a humbling sport.
it is.
It
It
can
can
get
get
very frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You go like several holes making all these bad shots, and then you'll hit this one beautiful divining shot, and you're just hooked again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on my third set of clubs right now.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Yeah, I'm
The
on
other
my
one-
first
the other ones I threw away.
custom set. Now,
So you go to any of the Clemson games, home games?
Yeah, I usually make homecoming every year, but I'm trying to
Okay.
make a couple more this year. Yeah, try to get a
Yeah.
little bit more involved with these guys and push them along.
I can't
Give them
wait.
that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody's excited.
It's
yeah,
I
I
mean,
Especially this
actually
game.
just rewatched the spring game, and one of the questions that I love that they asked Dabo, they were just like, you got Georgia right off the bat, and he's like, yeah, why not? When he goes, when I first took over this team, he goes, the narrative was we don't play anybody. He's like, so I told the AD, like, let's play people, let's go play them, let's just show them that we can do this, and so that's why they've been scheduling a lot of those games that they did. And I'm happy. I'm excited. Now, I hate that it's the first game of the season,
Oh yeah.
but I'm
but
excited.
got to be the best. Got to beat.
Well, there you go.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You got to set the tone. Why not play the number one team?
I'd
Let
rather
it
play
knock
the
them
first
off.
game.
Later in the season, a little bit less pressure.
But he did kind of crack me up when he said, I don't know how we scheduled App State. I don't know why we scheduled App State. He goes, that's the team I'm more worried about.
Exactly. A lot of people take
The night game. That is
off for that game. That's a night game, right?
It's a night game, 8:00. Yeah, App State
Yeah.
has been known to show up big game.
I don't know who had anything to do with the scheduling of this season, but
Yes,
you go into Atlanta, Georgia, which is really a home game for Georgia. You got the number one team in the nation we're going to have to play. And then right after that, we got App State.
night game.
That's how it usually is.
And then we
That's
got
how it usually is.
we got Stanford coming in from California.
That's the gauntlet right there. We're going to have to – we get past those first two games, and I'm going to tell you right there.
And then we got NC State at home.
We win those two games right there. That's going to tell you right there how good this team
we win
really
the
is.
first game. That's going to be
True.
big.
But then you go right after beating
Let's go set
Georgia
the tone.
and then come in and play App State. That's what I'm saying. Like,
What is
we win
Vegas?
those first two games. I think we got it.
What's
We got a
Vegas
team.
right? Vegas is like double digits right now. Georgia.
It keeps changing. It keeps fluctuating.
I think we can beat them. I think it's time for.
I know. Unfortunately, we did lose our one cornerback to injury right before the Georgia game, so that's going to be tough. But I still think defense is going to be good.
You got a new offensive line coach. Got some good recruits. You got Westbrook came in.
Yeah.
Cade's improved. That offensive line makes a big difference. We had a problem with that, and the defense is better than it was last year. The defense was pretty solid last year. Got a guy named Sammy Brown.
But you only lost one.
Yeah.
You only lost one offensive lineman, and all the rest of the guys came back. And the defensive line is pretty tough. So when we put up enough pressure on them, anybody can play cornerback.
Ben Boulware's on.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. I think if Moffa stays healthy, I think he could get 1,500 yards.
Oh yeah. So what's your predictions for the Georgia game? What do you think the score is going to be?
Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be a low-scoring game because we always play each other pretty tough.
We always play it. You're right about that.
Every time we play him, it's like
So
it
it may come down to a field goal at the end. That's what I'm thinking. And last year, you had to think we just threw a fluke pass, and then whatever last time we played them with,
it was a pick six. That was the deciding.
We're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
Pick
right.
six,
It
but it
was
was the quarterback fault. Well.
Yeah.
So that was miscommunication right there. And other than that, they didn't score anymore. So and it went off the offense. So you have to look at that as well. So I think we're gonna be all right. We're gonna play tough. So then you look out for that. There ain't gonna be no pushover game.
No, it's
I
not
think with the running game that we have, and now that we have Wesco and Adam Randall and Antonio Williams, I mean, those three guys alone, I think are going to get some separation and be able to kind of expose the defense a little bit. Because I think, Georgia is just going to try and stop the run. I think they're not worried about our pass game.
Yeah.
Well, they think they're gonna put all that pressure on us with those big guys. We're not worrying about Georgia. Who is freaking Georgia any goddamn way?
It's time to punch it to them. It's time to beat them.
Oh, I love it. And
Why
honestly
not?
and truly,
They're going down. They're going down.
We were playing them in
I
Athens.
predict.
Just give them a little taste of their own medicine.
Yeah. They're due. They're due.
What we need to do is just load up the whole stadium with a lot of doggone South Carolina troopers.
Yeah.
That'll scare them.
That's funny. Yeah, they got a little problem there.
Yeah, they're going too fast, buddy. You're drinking too much, buddy.
Yeah.
They did have.
Yeah, they're having some legal problems there. A couple of them went, but anyway.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I think we got a good schedule. I think we got a tough ranked schedule. I think.
Hey, that Florida State game is gonna be a good game too.
Well, we get to see DJ Uiagalelei
playing at Florida State.
And he's going to want some get back too.
Oh, I'm sure.
See, these games right there. All these games is just going to do nothing but test us up and get us ready for the playoffs. So, got the first game with Georgia. It's all hyped up. We're going to, ease through that game, and then go off to the next game. Just take how long they take each game, we're going for 1-0 each game. 1-0 each game. Just take your time, relax, play that game. Yeah. Take it one at a time. Don't look ahead. Look ahead.
One play at a time.
Take what's in front of you right now.
Yeah,
exactly. That's been Dabo's motto.
The
whole ever since he's been there was, take one game at a time. I don't care about what's coming up on the schedule. It's the biggest game is next week.
Doesn't matter if it's Citadel or Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. Don't matter. Because I think App State a while back, they jumped on the team and beat them.
They beat a number one team. Was it LSU or who was that?
They beat Texas A&M, didn't they?
They were like 1 or 2 or something. Yeah, they beat them.
Well, App State went into Texas A&M and beat Texas A&M, and then they went in. Back in the '90s they beat, or early 2000s they beat Michigan in Michigan.
Wow. Yeah. That's no cakewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we don't want that happening.
That's why Dabo said in the spring game, he goes, I don't know why we scheduled them. I don't know who thought to put them on the schedule. He goes, that's the team I'm more afraid of.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of guys try to relax on that game. No. You go for it. You go ham on them.
Well, I mean, going back to 81, didn't our 81 team have a little bit of difficulty with the Citadel in 81? Fairly close?
No, I don't think
one
so.
Team that we should have. No, at halftime it was like tied or something.
Well, no. Was it Wake Forest when we beat them 82-24?
That was I remember that. I was at that game. My dad. No, it was the Wofford game that was. Man, I just remember watching. There was one game at halftime was like tied. Shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but the game is 4 quarters.
Yep,
that's true. That's
we came out of that business.
Yep.
Well, you remember Citadel and Alabama were tied at halftime one time. Everybody's going crazy. And then
you're probably thinking about when Citadel beat South Carolina.
Oh, I remember. No, I wasn't thinking about that, but I remember that. I remember exactly where I was. I was at Little Caesars in Woodruff, South Carolina. Got back in my car and they announced it. I had to laugh.
I don't know who would have watched. I don't know who would have watched that game.
What's that?
Yep.
Oh,
I don't know who would have watched that game. Yeah, Citadel.
I didn't actually watch that game. I just heard about it, and I was just like, "What? Citadel beat South Carolina?"
Yeah, and then like this weekend, over in Clemson during the Orange and White weekend, I was watching the SEC Network, and they had Alabama and South Carolina, and they beat them. Remember that when they're number one? Alabama was. Nobody expected that either. It was that 2009, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not too long ago.
Any given Saturday.
That was the Spurrier days, wasn't it? When he was head coach.
Oh yeah, Spurrier, and yeah, they showed Nick Saban looked kind of young, but it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama fares out without Saban.
Yep. Without Saban,
I'm just a big believer in behind every great team's a great coach, and I wouldn't want to fill his shoes. But it's going to be an interesting year, and I know when they started talking about the 12 team playoff, I wasn't too sure, but I like the idea. I think it gives us more football, gives a guy on the outside that may not get in a chance to play. Like there've been a couple, like last year, FSU, Florida State should have been in there last year. You think about it.
Oh, Florida State got robbed. Period.
Yeah. And then you remember was a UCF. I always say it wrong. The Florida team that went 24-0.
Yeah,
And
they should have been in it that 1 year too. Instead, they put Alabama in there. It was 2017 because we ended up playing Alabama. We were ranked number 1. We played Alabama, and they beat us pretty decisively with Kelly Bryant as the quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's when I said it was kind of messed up that I think it was UCF. I want to say it was UCF, but they should have been the one in there. They were conference champions. They were undefeated. But everybody's like, nobody wants to watch them get beat by Clemson, and it's like, well, why can't they have their shot? Yeah. So that's why I'm so happy about the 12-team playoff.
I mean, like in March Madness, like when Wofford went to the final, 16 that year. So it gives all the little teams a chance, or teams on the edge when, because even when it was 4 teams and Clemson was in the mix, I mean, you'd be sitting there and they announce the first 3 teams and you're like, you haven't heard your name yet. You're sweating it. Yeah. But 12 teams gives a little bit of leeway, takes a little bit of pressure off.
As a player perspective, you have to look at that's going to be a lot of games we played.
I know.
It can help you, it hurts you. It can help you and hurt you in some ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally just about to ask you that question, KD, is what's your thoughts on that being, from the style of football you came from, where you basically had people voting on if you were going to be number 1 or not, to now you have this playoff system.
I kind of like the playoff system, but it's going to make it long. It's shorten the regular season. Okay, you don't have to play Appalachian State. You don't have to play Citadel. Stick with the regular conference games, and let's go straight into the playoff. That's how I look at it.
Now, this is actually a plan that I proposed, and I've said this a few times to some other guests that we've had on. And my thought process is this: okay, you got the 12-team playoff, and it's already been decided that the highest conference champions will get top 4 seeds, and then everybody else kind of falls below that, right? So you're pretty much saying, okay, SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, like those power conference, that's going to be like, but why not just go ahead and take out those non-conference games with the exception of South Carolina? We got to play South Carolina, but you take out the Citadel, you take out the whatever, and actually take those games and make them a preseason scrimmage. Like it doesn't count win or loss, no way or on either side. They can still get the money that we're giving them to come to us to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, but let's have it as a scrimmage game where, it's not hurting their win-loss and it's not hurting our win-loss record.
Correct. I agree. I would just say
be careful about injuries, though. That's the thing.
Well, but you're going to have injuries in the spring game.
Yeah, but you don't want
injuries in the scrimmage practices.
They can't tackle the quarterback in the spring game.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. You kind of, in my opinion, do like spring game rules.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'd hate to see somebody like Cade or somebody like I'm agreeing with you, but you'd hate to see somebody like a star quarterback or running back get hurt in a preseason game. I mean, in the NFL, they don't really play any of the
right, but that's my point. Like now you can work out these kinks. Like if we had a team like Wofford or Citadel or Coastal Carolina, somebody from the South Carolina State, which that's one of the things I was just listening to Dabo talk about was when he said, let's schedule these big boys, but let's also schedule a team from our state and help them, fund their program, which I think is great. But, that hurts their win-loss record. If we lose, it makes us highly embarrassed, which I get that, which you shouldn't lose anyways. But my point is you play those games before the season and you can play your starters. You don't have to play all your starters, whatever. That way you work out the kinks and then we can go play Georgia.
Yeah. Well, sounds good.
That's
I
a
mean, it
great
gets
idea.
pretty
That's a great
boring.
idea.
So,
But-
all right, so we get to the
And-
12 teams, right? And first four, the way I understand it, got to bye, right? So then you got 8 left. So those 8 will play, and they'll go to 4. Have you figured out how all this works yet?
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
it's like this.
Top 4
So
got to bye.
the four top teams, conference champions, get a bye week,
Yeah,
and then
that's right. If
everybody
you
else.
win the conference championship, you automatically in.
Yeah. So then you play these other teams will play, and then
Yeah,
we'll
8, you'll go to
decide
4.
who plays the top 4 teams.
You go to 4.
Then you
and
play
then
those 4 games,
They'll go to
and
2.
then it brings it down to the final 2.
Okay, and then they play have the bye.
Yeah.
They play the remaining 2. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And
probably
they've extended it down into January, like deep into January.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna go to February like the NFL.
No, it's not February, but it's like January.
Hey, I'm good with that because
Yeah.
January gets boring. It's cold. It's rainy. We need some
But I mean, in my opinion, I think they should do it earlier than that. Like
You
I
got
know
the
that
holidays,
there was one of the reasons why they were like kind of debating on doing this expanded playoff, whatever, was because of the way the school starts, the way school enrolls.
Yeah,
That they couldn't do it at certain times. Like they got to be a hard stop at a certain time in January because kids have their school starting, they're enrolling, and all that kind of stuff. And then you got the recruiting aspects of stuff, people leaving, portal, all that stuff that kind of happens in the January time period. So, in my opinion, when you play the conference championship around December 5th, you've got almost 3 weeks before bowl games start going.
Well, the problem with that is the Christmas and all that falls in. It's hard to get.
Right. But those
It takes
playoff
1
teams
week
were
out pretty
practicing. Those playoff teams were practicing and not going home for Christmas. Like there were several years that those teams didn't get the time off. They were practicing.
Well,
That's correct.
I'm excited to see this year.
But that's why I just said, in my opinion, I feel like you end that game and the conference championship around December 5th weekend. Take a break, take a week off, and then just go ahead and start those first 12 teams. Go ahead and get those games out. Then you can kind of give a little space between the next round, if you will. But I don't know. That's just – I feel like that may help with players recouping and, trying to help with injuries and whatnot. And then you're kind of done still by the first week of January.
Yeah. Well, you can start 2 weeks ahead. You can start early.
That's what I'm saying. Like kind of like that.
Start the season 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get out there.
Or that too. Yeah, you start the season early.
Yep.
But I agree. I think just taking out these non-conference games that don't really mean anything, take those out and just play conference games.
Yep.
All right. So we got.
But I will say,
how do you see this thing winding down?
You kind of do take away those big key matchups that kind of generate money in the TV world. Like here we are, Georgia and Clemson playing first game of the season. You got Alabama playing some big team somewhere, or
why are we
Ohio State playing a big team? Like I don't know.
You would think Georgia and Clemson would be a prime time in Atlanta, and they got a noon game.
Well, that's just because people think that Georgia's going to roll us over.
I guess.
All
right, here.
I think the TV world thinks we're not going to show up.
All right, I'll read these out. Let me see if you think they're in. Georgia in the 12. Georgia's in. You got Ohio State number 2. They'll make it.
Georgia's in with a 1 loss to us.
Yeah, they got Oregon ranked number 3, and then we got Texas.
Texas will make it.
Alabama, they got ranked 5th. Ole Miss 6th. Notre Dame 7th. Penn State 8th.
I take that back. This is Texas' first year playing in the SEC.
Yeah. Well, they surprised me They had a good season last year. I thought they would. And if I remember correctly.
What's your thoughts on that, KD? Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC.
That just make it more interesting. Just make it more football. They can come on over. Let them come on over. Get beat up so we can win.
Speaking of that, what do you think about Clemson maybe in the SEC?
Ooh. That's that. You're gonna look at that every week now. Going and playing some hard nosed football there.
Well, I mean,
That's gonna be interesting.
here's what
I like it where we are. You know,
I hear it from Carolina fans.
we're getting rings every year.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't think we're tired of getting ACC championship rings. I mean, check.
no, we've had enough of those. I'm just saying, like, we win, y'all had a cupcake. Every time we won a national championship or made it into the finals of the championship, we played some teams.
It was against the SEC team.
Yeah, I mean, we beat
hands down, hands down.
Here's a little fact that I just want to put out there, because so many people, especially SEC fans, and honestly, I really don't want to go to the SEC because I can't stand their fans. The fans are the worst. But the one thing that they always throw at me, who wins the championships all the time? Who's winning championships all the time? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But when the SEC doesn't win the championship, who wins the championship? ACC team.
Yeah, either Clemson or Florida State. Right.
Only two other times outside of the ACC and the SEC winning national championships was another conference, and that was the Big Ten. Michigan and Ohio State.
Think about you got to think about this. Wherever Clemson goes, it doesn't even matter. We're gonna win. We're gonna be successful.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't matter. So who needs to be looking out? We're not worried. You know, other teams could be afraid. They'll be figuring out how they're going to, defend us. So that's how I look at it. It don't matter where we go.
Crank up the Roy button.
I agree with you there. I definitely don't like it. Geographically, I don't like it. I mean, Stanford, SMU, and California in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The Atlantic Coast. It just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And that's fine and dandy that Stanford's coming to Clemson, but how many fans want to fly out to California for a game?
But Clemson fans travel well.
Huh?
Clemson fans travel well.
Absolutely.
They just, I mean, maybe in a bowl game, but have them in the same league where you play them every year.
Yeah, but we're not going to be playing Stanford every year. That's going to be like an every 2 years kind of thing.
SMU's in Texas, and then California, of course, in California.
Well, hell, there for a while we were going to Texas every playoff. If it wasn't Arizona, it was Texas.
Well, Dallas is better than Glendale or wherever. Closer anyway. But
that orange is gonna flow.
Well, I mean, when you play KD and then now, has it not just totally changed from the NIL to the port? It's not like it used to be. Seems like it was simpler back then.
Simpler, but it was when back then it was more structured. We were, very time based was very limited. If you're not at practice, you're at study hall. If you're not there, you're eating. Other than that, it's lights out at 10 o'clock. Back up at 5. So we were pretty structured back then, and the main thing was that we had a lot of practice time.
Yeah,
practice every day, and it seemed like it was unlimited time. Because if it got any later, they put the lights on. And one time they even started practice all over again. So I'm used to 4-hour scrimmages on Saturday, So I think it was in our favor that we had a lot of practice time and a lot of meeting times. Now it's like one day on, one day off, or whatever how they do it. And the time scrimmage is restricted as well.
Yeah.
But now, what is your thoughts on where college football has gone from when you were playing to how it is now with the whole NIL, the transfer portal? Like, are you happy the way it went that way, or you're kind of not?
I'm kind of the old school. If you're being recruited and this is the side where you were going to go, it was the 4 years that you're going to spend your career there, as far as getting a degree, and finishing out your collegiate career. And now it just seems like you go, you're not playing, you're not able to suck it up, and be a man and build your way, work your way in the lineup. Now you think you're just going to go somewhere else and think you're going to play there. I don't know. It's a pretty cop out to me. So.
I don't like
That's one of the things that I love that Dabo says is iron sharpens iron, or is it steel sharpens steel? And I love the fact that we have these, top recruits playing against our offensive top recruits, and it's just like I said,
Right.
they just keep getting sharpened every time they play against each other.
Right. But then again, you got to
And
look at how many people in that portable that really want to go to Clemson. Did we have anybody that would help us? I mean, I'm sure they looked at all those variables, but
well,
I don't know.
if you talk to the fans, there's apparently a plethora of players that would make us win championships in the portal. My opinion, I agree with Dabo. I love the fact that he doesn't really dip into the portal, that he trusts the players that he's already recruited. And he's like, there's players in the portal that we could go after, but they just don't really fit our way.
If they don't fit, then don't put it in there because you'll be dealing with a lot of problems. So,
and of course, the media keeps throwing up the fact that Clemson and Air Force and Army and Navy are the only schools that has not taken any transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I only know of one team. You can tell me if anybody. Well, maybe Florida State with the way they were last year, but then look, they didn't even get to the playoffs. And then when they did face Georgia, half their team left before they played Georgia. But only one team benefited from the portal, and that was LSU with Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Colorado.
That Georgia Florida State game was just a disaster. Because everybody left and they went and they just got what was it, 63-7 or it was crazy.
But that's my
everybody's running after this money bag, and they call it. I was trying to think. A couple of fellows looking back say, how would that money deal look like when we were playing? It might have. I don't know. A lot of people probably got knocked out even early during the game if that was the case.
Yeah, it's changed. I mean, it's a business, man. Now it's
right. It's a business early for these young men. Exactly.
Well, one of the problems I don't mind players getting paid. I don't think it's an equal. Well, okay, let's talk about the offensive line for instance. Everybody knows who the quarterback is, and everybody sees the 75-yard touchdown or the 45-yard run. They don't see the block that made that happen in a lot of cases. And the quarterback, 5-star recruit, comes in, man, and star player, he gets NIL contract, and you got the guys up there that are just doing just as an important job. It's just not as sexy because they're not throwing the ball and running the ball. There needs to be some kind of way to, like, a percentage of everybody's goes into a fund where everybody gets like an equal amount of. Is that what you see what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem like it would be fair for one guy to be making a couple million and the other guy's not making anything. And he's playing just as hard and he's showing up for practice. And I don't know if that would cause a resentment or it's.
Well, that's up to the individual player. That would be up to the individual player because I know one player, he had turned all the money he got, he gave a percentage to his lineman.
Good.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's a good dude there.
If I'm not mistaken, Cade Klubnik did something for his offensive line with one of his deals that he got. It was like some headphones or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
He received something and he took care of his offensive line, which I thought was great. But KD, you could probably speak to this the best. A lot of people I think underrate tight ends and what they actually do in the blocking side of things. Yeah, you see them do the little, chip blocks and then kind of get out to the flats or whatever, or the little in post seam routes, whatever. But the instrument that you guys can be in the blocking scheme alone can be tremendous to an offense, especially in the running game.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, if you look at it, they start doing away with the fullback. They start giving the H back. And then, those guys were more like get out for the flats. They were more like blockers and receivers as well. So if you had a 2 tight end set, then you're still vulnerable in the passing game as well as the blocking game. So if so tight end is a vital position with the offense. Because if you've got one that can get upfield with the receivers, split the seams, it's hard to stop a tight end if you got a good tight end.
Yeah.
Because he's able to destroy a whole defense. If you look at it, he's coming down, he's blocking down on the tackle, helping the double team. Then you kick it out with the fullback. Then you coming on, and he's double the team off to the linebacker. So that opens that up. So you got a versatile tight end that's able to help the tackle, then chip off and then get off to the linebacker. That opens up a lot. Then you get a tight end that works well and reach blocks you. We get around the end every time. Then you fake the sweep. You turn around and then you're coming back with the comeback.
Yeah,
with the wagon.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, in my opinion, the best tool on an offense is a tight end. Like, they're like a Swiss Army knife.
Totally
true.
Because it's pretty versatile.
And
then you can split them. Then you can split them out. Then you can split them out. If you can flex them out, and then you can flex them all the way out, get on top of a regular corner, smaller corner. So that'll be a mismatch right there. And then you put them in motion, keep them moving around. So it's variable stuff you can do with a good tight end if you got a good one.
In the latest 10 years of NFL, who were the two biggest stars? Kelsey, Gronk.
Gronk.
Yep.
I mean,
very versatile guys.
Right. Exactly. And and that's why I'm excited about Brenningstool. I can't wait to see him play this year.
He's a beast. He is.
I mean, I think he's got the skills with blocking and getting down the field, and just I was just saying, a Swiss Army knife. I think Brenningstool is going to be key to the offense this year. I think he's going to be key in getting Napa running room. I think he's going to be key with Klubnik, getting some draw, some check down routes, whatever you want to call it. But I'm excited.
Right.
Well, KD, it's been a pleasure having you on, man.
We appreciate it, man.
I hope you enjoy your retirement and travel the world and get to do what all you've always wanted to do. And it's been a pleasure having you on, man.
Yeah, you got one of the games,
man.
Give us a shout out,
guys.
I said you're one of the home games. Just give us a shout out.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for the tailgate, and I'll be down there in Atlanta, and I'll be rooting my guys on. Right. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. We're all family, and we're always pushing up to win that championship. And we always got support from the old guys. We always push our new guys on. They're little puppies, but we're pushing them on to win that little national championship like we did in '81. Go Tigers!
So Anthony Weeks asked if we could do the Clemson chant, and I'll be honest.
It works on everything but this StreamYard.
We've tried this Clemson chant live, but for whatever reason, it never really goes well.
Everybody's on a different time zone. It's like
it's like the timing never works out. But I will say,
I do that Tigers. Huh?
I said I will say go Tigers though.
Oh yeah,
that always seems to work. But when we first started this show, me and Josh tried to
do the Tiger chant, and then we'll have a football game, and then we'll really have some stuff to talk about.
No,
that's when it gets interesting during football.
All about the chatting, but no. I just like to hear that. I just like to hear that cannon go off.
Oh yeah.
Run down that hill.
That's right.
Now KD, you're gonna be at next year's Orange and White, right? You'll be at next year's Orange and White weekend.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed it. So
I had a long time. The whole thing was fun, from the dunking to the golf.
Right, and then they had the gala. I was impressed about the gala.
And I wasn't able to attend the gala this year, but I will be attending the gala next year.
Well,
it was real nice.
Well, Josh, do you have anything else you want to say or do? We're hitting that hour mark, so
come out. Yeah, we'll be doing some live shows, pregame shows, and we'll keep you updated on our Facebook page with that and anything new coming on. I mean, it's just a lot of exciting stuff happening with Abilene Orange, especially some stuff's coming together in the last 3 weeks. That's pretty exciting.
Hey,
And,
I'm excited. I'm hoping the Facebook page can hit 40K in the next few weeks. I think we're getting close.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we let everybody in. We'd probably hit 100K, but I mean, you got like 12, 15 screening that stuff, and you'd be amazed how many Carolina fans want to come in, and Georgia, especially lately, Georgia fans.
Lately, it's been Georgia fans trying to get in.
And they'll say something, you know, because screens in this, and we're gonna kick y'all what or whatever. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna let you in. And so we just do that for a reason. We don't need to huh? So you still there?
He's breaking up a little bit.
That's a good hour.
Yeah. Well, KD, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Pleasure,
Thank you for coming. I'd love to have you back on in the future if you ever would like to come back on, especially after you get done with your travels. And love talking to you, and greatly appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
My guys, really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
All right.
Go Tigers. All right. All right.